It is March 21st at 7 p.m. All crime is legal for the next 12 hours until 7 o'clock in the morning. What do you do? Hello and welcome back to Questions That Matter. Today we are asking, what if the purge was real? Well, the concept is kind of ridiculous. No government in their right mind would allow 12 hours of total unruly chaos. The question itself is interesting. What would happen if there were no laws for half a day? There are just 2 rules during the purge. Any weapon is okay, but the use of explosives is not allowed, and purgers cannot kill high-ranking government officials during the purge. No hospitals open, fire stations are not open, and police officers do not patrol. Essentially, it's every man for themselves. If crime was legal in this way, it is likely that all sensible people would leave the country for the duration. And no tourists would want to visit during or in the immediate aftermath. This would mean a huge economic loss. Before any damage during the purge itself has even been enacted, those who wanted to stay and protect their assets would spend money on fortifications, building defenses and panic rooms which would provide a boost for the security industry. Although they themselves may see losses throughout the year, businesses that usually operate in these hours would be closed down, or they would run with very, very heavy security. Usually when the law breaks down, people turn to rioting and looting. That being said, anybody out on the street during these lawless hours would be vulnerable to attack. For this reason, the amount of rioting seen on purge night may be minimal, although the small number of people who do revel in chaos could cause reasonable local damage. In the movie, the government employed mobsters to target poor people in some kind of outrageous form of social cleansing. This would not happen in real life because no government is stupid enough to expose themselves to widespread outrage under threat of revolution. That being said, a lawless evening would expose vulnerable people like the poor and homeless to the chaos, as they did not have the financial means to protect themselves with any fancy defenses. While some humans are awful and would use the purge as an opportunity to behave in such a way, the majority of people really are. Some are actually, would you believe it, good people. These good people would be likely to form purge protection groups to help defend the most vulnerable areas of society from hooliganism. Of course, these are the people that probably would have stopped the notion of the purge from ever taking place in the first place, but whatever. Just because the purge was over at 7 a.m. doesn't mean the consequences would be. Depending on the scale of the damage, a big and expensive cleanup would be in order, and there would be a lot of messy legal battles of accusations of crimes that took place after 7 a.m. If you killed someone at 6 a.m., who's to say that, hey, you know what, they did that at 8 a.m.? Nobody would know. If a person, their family or their property was harmed one year, they could spend the next year harboring rage and even plotting to enact justice during the next purge. Guys plotting to commit crimes, countless crimes outside of purge day. There may also be a spike in certain situations, assuming some horrendous individuals took lack of legal consequences on purge night as a green light. The movie paints a very violent picture of a temporary halt to society, suggesting that the only reason people don't kill one another during the rest of the year is because it's not legal to do so, which is stupid. I don't know about you, but it isn't the threat of the law that stops me from murdering someone. That's actually my moral compass. Similarly, people on the fringes of society who steal food so they can eat, or people in desperate situations who commit robberies, do it because they need to, which is unlikely to change even if there is one evening a year where this is okay. In the movie, purge night resulted in lower crime rates and a strong economy for the rest of the year. I highly doubt this would be the case if a lawless 12 hours were to exist each March. Just because acts are being decriminalized on one day of the year doesn't mean they didn't happen. Call it legal, call it what you want, but one dead body is one dead body, one robbed bank is one robbed bank, and one burned building does the same amount of damage on whatever day of the year it happens, and whether or not you choose to acknowledge it as part of your statistics. A high concentration of harmful actions on one day of the year doesn't mean there won't be any fallout or any instances the rest of the year. It would likely be worse. But guys, don't worry because I really don't imagine it will ever happen. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Life's Biggest Questions. What do you guys think would happen if the purge was real and crime was legal for 12 hours? What would you do? Let me know in the comments section down below. I'm Rebecca Felgate. I'll see you guys in the next video, but for now, stay curious, stay safe, and never, ever stop questioning.